Are you fed up because your footage doesn't look quite as good as everyone else's on YouTube? Have you tried many things to make it look better? In this week's video, I'm going to show you how I use the Osmo Pocket 3 to capture some stunning cinematic footage. So I've got 5 insanely useful techniques that will help elevate your footage to that next level. I'm going to try and wrap all of this up in under 10 minutes. Timer? No timer. Try a few of these out, see which ones you like. You might prefer some over others, but it is a great place to start if you want to try and just look a little bit more specialised when you're doing it. This entire video will be shot on the Osmo Pocket 3, including these bits. So stick around, I'll edit everything on Final Cut Pro. I use a couple of plugins, I'll tell you what they are, and I'll show you what we can do when we pull it all together at the end and see what you think. Are you ready to get an unfair advantage? Let's go. So technique number 1, always make sure that you shoot in DLog. I'll show you how to access that on the Pocket 3, but it's really vital if you want to get the most out of your footage. DLog is a flat profile, I'm sure you know all about it. It looks terrible when you take it off the SD card and put it into your editing software, but it gives you the highest amount of dynamic range to allow you to then play about your footage when you're finished. I wouldn't have been able to get some of the shots that I got, or the results that I got, had I not shot in the DLog format. The first step is to get the DJI conversion LUT from their website. I'll show you the link how to get there. And once you apply that to your footage, all of a sudden things start to look a lot better. This is now your starting point for making the tweaks and personalising it and putting your style onto the footage so that you get the look that you're looking for. Whilst I understand that might not seem like a technique, it's just insanely useful to get into the habit of doing that. Technique number 2 is to vary your shots. It's very tempting when you've got the Osmo Pocket 3 just to hold it out in front of you and capture everything in front of you. That's actually quite useful at the start of a scene. It's an establishing shot. It shows you the conditions of the day. It shows you the area that you're in. You then need to start to drill down and get some medium shots, some close tight in shots. You will see from some of the footage that I've shot, there are certain techniques like panning out from behind an object or pulling back as you walk back through an object. Obviously the opposite applies as well, zooming in, making things move from top to bottom. I know it seems very obvious, but when you cut it together with lots of other footage, it just adds that nice little element of interest. The most important thing about varying your shots is, again, when you get back to the editing studio, you'll have lots to choose from. It's always better to have far too much footage than not enough, because when you get to the edit, you might find yourself tempted to reuse clips if you didn't spend a little bit more time trying to vary up your shots. So technique number 2, vary your shots. Technique number 3 is to start using the modes that are already built into the camera. You've got motion lapse, hyperlapse. One of the ones that you'll use most often probably is the slow motion. As with the previous technique, it helps to add variety to your shot. It certainly helps with the cinematic element, especially when you see things in slow motion, which I'll again show you what I've done with some of the footage that I've taken. Time lapses and motion lapses are also fantastic for just making sure that everything elevates up to that professional standard. To access these, all you do is click on the little icon in the bottom left of the screen, which takes you to them. Just scroll to them, click on it, and that's you. You're ready to go. A word of caution though, when you go between different modes, the settings that you had previously might not be carried across. So you might be shooting at 60 frames per second, 4K normal, but then you want to go to slow motion, it might have changed it to 1080p. So make sure that whenever you go into a new mode, you just double check your settings so that you get the result that you're looking for. If you're enjoying this video and you're finding it useful, then please consider subscribing to the channel or give the video a thumbs up. It's much appreciated and helps me make more videos like this to help you in the future. Technique number 4, hire a cameraman. If you're like me, I'm a solo creator. I'm always out there on my own. Sometimes I've got Nancy with me, but the vast majority of the time I'm out, it's just myself. And whilst that is good for making sure you remain focused on what you're doing, it sometimes is limiting because of the shots that you can get. That's where Active Track comes in. If you have Face Track enabled with Active Track on the Osmo, you can set it up, you can walk about, you've got your very own production team. And again, try and vary the angles that you shoot these from. Instead of just shooting at eye level, get it on the ground, walk past the camera, get it up above, looking down, get yourself walking underneath the camera. All of these things show that you've went a little bit further to put more effort into capturing a better shot. As with the previous technique, Active Track isn't available in all shooting modes, so just be aware of that. To use Active Track, if you're in the correct mode, all you do simply is just double tap on the screen on the object that you want to track. Now again, try and get creative with this. You don't just have to track people. You can track objects, cars, animals. By doing that, you just, again, you stand out from the crowd. So we'll have a look about and see what's worth tracking. So technique number 5 is to go hands-free. So technique number 5 is to go hands-free, not hands-free. Hands-free, was he in Star Wars? So technique number 5, go hands-free. Instead of just holding it or leaning it up against something, get a more stable base. I bought the Creator Combo, which came with the small black tripod. However, when you're in nature, there are not too many exactly flat surfaces that you can put this on without the fear of it falling over. Especially if you're using active track, if you've got it balanced precariously and the gimbal starts to move, it can be enough to make the weight topple over. And that's a very expensive mistake to make with your camera. I mentioned this in a previous video, but what I've done is I have a spare Arca Swiss plate which I've stuck onto the battery expansion for the Osmo Pocket, screwed that in there nice and tight, and now I can just attach it to my normal tripod. But what's great about that is, regardless of where you are now, you can get yourself a nice firm base, you can get far more creative with your shooting angles again, and again, when you couple that with the active track, the sky becomes the limit. So really just start thinking about how you can make yours look different. I mentioned about low shots, high shots, but have different things. Have yourself walking into frame, walking out of frame. It all just adds that layer of this is a movie rather than somebody's home video. So that's all 5 techniques. We're not finished yet. So you've seen some of the footage that I've taken using these techniques. What I'm going to do, as I said at the beginning, is I'm going to throw this into Final Cut Pro. We're going to edit it, and I'm going to show you what I've managed to do with my footage. But you might have a different style, but hopefully it'll open up some ideas in your head for possibilities of what you can do. So come back after it, and I've got a few more things to tell you. But here's the montage. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it opened up some more possibilities in your mind of what you can do with your footage. I'm still learning, and every time I do a new video, I find a new technique. I push myself a little bit further in my editing journey. And when I compare my first YouTube video of 9 months ago, 10 months ago to this video just now, I can definitely see the progress, and I dare say I will again in 12 months. If you'd like to see more from my channel, then please consider subscribing. Just click the link below, join the journey, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, you can consider clicking on wherever they appear this week. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video very, very shortly. Thanks. Bye.